Hello and welcome back. Today I want to start talking about some other ways to solve triangles that do not have a right angle in them. In other words, not right triangles. The first couple cases we're going to look at are when you're given any two angles in any side. I'm going to call that the AAS or the ASA case, kind of back from geometry and when you proved triangles congruent back a couple years ago. But this is the easiest case, and there's a particular law that we use called the Law of Cosines. By the way, the Law of Cosines is also used for a third case that we'll call the SSA case, so we don't say a bad word. But we're going to look at that in a different video. It's called the Ambiguous Case, and like I say, I'll do that one here in just a little bit. But what we're going to do for these first two cases, two angles on any side, is the law of sines, and it looks like this. It's basically a set of ratios where the sine of angle A is to side A, as the sine of angle B is to side B, and the sine of angle C is to side C. And if we know two angles on any one side, I think you can see we can do some cross multiplication and kind of find what we're looking for. Okay, so I'm going to do one quick example with you guys, and then I'll give you a second one you can do on your own, and then we'll kind of zip through those answers, and we'll move on to the next topic. So here we go. Here's our first one. So I want to solve the triangle. I'm giving you angle C, angle B, and side A. Remember, capital letters are always going to be the angles. Lowercase letters are always going to be the sides. So listen, I always recommend that we draw the triangle and kind of label it. You don't have to do that, but I do think it's a good idea. So I'm going to do that. So angle C, 106, angle B, 27 degrees, and then side A. Remember, the sides are always opposite from the angles themselves, so the 13 will come over here. Okay, and so obviously we need to find angle A, and then we need to find side B, and we need to find side C. Now, the angle is obviously the easy one, because we know from geometry that if you add up all the angles inside of a triangle, what does it come out to be? Hopefully in your head you said 180 degrees. So we know that angle A is going to be 180 minus 106 minus 27, and that comes out to be 47 degrees. So that's the easy part. So I'll go and label that in there too, just so I don't have to worry about it. And now that I have all three angles, now it's just a matter of using my law and setting up all these ratios. Okay, so I'm going to write that as the sine of 47 degrees over 13, because I know that length, and then the sine of B, which is 27 degrees, and I don't know that side, and that's going to be equal to the sine of 106 over side C. Now, obviously, I can't do all these things at one time, but if you just kind of look at this ratio right here, we can do the old cross multiply divide trick. 13 times sine 27 equals B times sine 47, and then we can solve that for B, and that's going to end up being, we're about to blue here, so B is going to be equal to 13 sine 27 divided by sine of 47 degrees. Now, depending on the calculator you have, make sure that you're paying attention to the degree symbol or what mode it's in, stuff like that. But that's going to give us side B. And then we'll do the same thing for side C. The only difference here, we're still going to use this ratio here when you go to look at side C. That's going to avoid some rounding errors. So you want to make sure and use the ratio that you're completely given in the problem. So in other words, do the same kind of cross multiply divide trick. So I'm going to say that C is going to be equal to 13 sine of 106 divided by sine of 47. you'll notice the ratio for the two sides you're going to look for are going to be set up the exact same way. The only thing that will change is that angle you have in the numerator. So for side B, we had the sine 27, and then for side C, we had the angle C, which is sine 106. So once you have that, you go to your calculator. I'm going to bring my Inspire up because I typed those in just to save a couple seconds. So when you type those in, again, being careful of the mode or the degree symbol, whatever you have to use. So we know that side B was 8.07 and side C was 17.09 is what I'll round that off to. So I'll come back over here and I've solved the triangle, right? So I know that C was equal to 17.09. And I know that B was equal to 8.07. And back at the very beginning, I found angle A was 47 degrees, and the problem is finished. Okay, so when you have any two angles on any one side, what is the process that we go through here? Well, it's these steps right here. So we go and find the third angle first. That's easy just by subtracting from 180. You set up the law signs, and then you find each missing side by doing the cross multiply divide trick. Okay? So I will leave that up there for just a couple seconds in case you're still kind of jotting that down, and you can pause the video and go back and see how all of those things came about. But these are calculator questions at its core, but you still need to know kind of how to manipulate it and conceptually how to do these things by hand. So let's look at one more example, and I'm going to ask you to pause the video here and solve this out, at least. And even if you don't have a calculator, at least set up the ratios and write out the ratios so you know what you would put in the calculator, and then we can get the final answers that way. Okay? So before you pause the video, make sure that we are labeling our triangle correctly. So again, angle A, 68 degrees. Angle C, 63 degrees. And side B is 10, so across from B, so our 10 is going to be right here. So go ahead and pause the video, and in your notes, solve the rest of that. So find angle B and the two sides, and then we'll get back together in just 1 second. Okay, so hopefully by now you have again, if you didn't actually solve it, if you don't have a calculator handy, but you've at least set up the ratios. So let's do angle B first. That's the easy one. So angle B is 180 minus 68 minus 63, which comes out to be 49 degrees. That's the easy one. And then for the law of sines, instead of writing all three of them out this time, I'm going to kind of write just the one ratio I'm going to find first. So I'm going to find side A first, just because I feel like it. So I know it's the sine of 68 degrees over side A, which is right there. And the ratio that I know everything about, I know side B and angle B. So that's going to be sine of 49 degrees over 10. And again, I do my cross multiply and divide trick. So 10 times sine 68 divided by sine 49. And when I put that in the calculator, that will be my side C. I'm sorry, my side A. I apologize. And then I do the same kind of thing for side C. So I'll do that over here to the side. So again, the sine of 63 degrees over C. And I'm going to use a ratio that I know. So again, I'm going back to the B pair. So sine 49 divided by 10. Okay, and again, cross multiply divide. So I have 10. I'll write it this way. So C equals 10 sine 63 divided by sine 49. Okay, so again, even if you don't have a calculator, hopefully you got those ratios set up. But if you do have a calculator and you got those out, I'll come over here in my calculator here, and there are your final answers. So side A is, we'll call it 12.29, and side C is 11.81. So hopefully that has helped you out a little bit, seeing how the law of sines worked. We are going to do some more of those in class as we move forward. But and there's also going to be a video forthcoming very shortly, just in the next little bit here, on the law of cosines, which we use the law of cosines when we have the three-side case, the SSS case, or two sides and the included angle, and we'll talk about what that means when we get to that video also. And then there'll be a third video coming back to the law of sines when we deal with the ambiguous case. I will link to those other two videos at the end of this one in case you want to kind of jump ahead and see those as well. But if you have questions, bring them with you into class, and we will see you. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe if you want to see some more videos moving forward, so you can be notified of when some more videos are going to come down your way. Thank you again for watching. We will see you next time.